Hello, Karina here, your Lucid Living Coach. It is Friday, March 20th, and just wanted to reach out to everyone. And I'm probably not going to last long out here in the cold. And it's brand new that we're stepping into, and we're starting to see what it is about. But yeah, so I'm here and it's super cold and it's snow everywhere. Um, I had planned to come up to Tahoe before all this craziness broke out, and I'm not really planning on breaking my plans, so here I am. I will go back home if I have work to do. So I will be working up here, working on my YouTube channel and trying to figure out the outcome and why this is all really happening. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So today was the very first day of the sun being in Aries, which is our first day of spring. Okay. Aries in spring is a cardinal energy. It's a momentum. It's a go-getter. It's your asserting yourself in the world, and it's your self-awareness. And it has to do with passion, anger, and Mars. It's ruled by Mars. So Mars is the take action. It's the warrior too. So this is this could be a violent type energy. This could also be a selfish energy too, right? Because the opposite of Aries is Libra. And what's Libra? Libra's harmony and balance and an other. But Aries is about self, and it's asserting oneself, and it's getting your own needs met. And it's not really thinking about other. So that's where we need to pay attention to, really embracing more of the Libra energy of harmony and balance. Now, so we're in this energy, right? The sun is about to come up to Chiron next week. That's going to be a very healing aspect. It could also feel like you're as much as you feel like you want to move forward, that you're trapped or you can't. And that is the Mercury that's happening in Pisces, okay? Because it's still moving over energy that we've already moved through. Mercury is our communication, and it is the way that we think. So with that being said, the moon is going to come up to Neptune, and Neptune is delusions, it's isolations, it's institutions, it's jails, it's not seeing things clearly. When the moon and Neptune are together, you're more vulnerable to deceit, you're more vulnerable to people taking advantage of you. And so let's just be mindful this weekend with what we are believing to be true. Because just because it's on social media, just because it's on the news, doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. Statistics can be manipulated with just a shift in what you're analyzing in the data. So keeping that in mind, yes, this is a pandemic, and it is something that you can try to protect yourself with by the rules that have been set in place. However, you also want to be aware. And when I see certain things like Mars coming up to Pluto, I think of power to control. And I also see that someone that is in power, let's just say, taking an advantage of their power. And that's where I will not stand for. Okay. And I think as a community and as humanity, we need to be aware, and we need to start taking precautionary steps onto how we're going to create, if we have to, a revolution, because that is Aquarius energy. And that is the age that we're stepping into. And that is also where the planet Saturn, which rules structures and karma, that is moving into Aquarius on Saturday, which is kind of funny because Saturday is Saturn Day. That is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is moving into a brand new part of the sky that we haven't seen. And I will pull that up. So the last time Saturn was in Aquarius was there's just a lot going on, and it's really hard to channel all of these planets that are yelling at me. Like, all these planets are yelling at me, and they all want me to see something, and they're all saying their own and telling me a lot of stuff that's overwhelming me, and I'm trying to translate it as best as I can. So right now, for this week, Saturday, which is Saturn Day, Saturn is moving into Aquarius. It will be here until July 1st, and then it will move back into Capricorn. So with that being said, whatever's going on for this weekend, and let's say that this craziness subsides, we're going to have another flare up in July. So whatever is going to happen this weekend is going to be brought up again in July. So this could be, let's say we're all panicking and all this craziness is happening, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, the virus is gone, it's all done, it's all over with, we can go back to work, blah blah blah. Okay, and we're like, okay, great, it's all done, woohoo. And then there's something that's going to sneak up on us in July, and it'll be July, August, September, October, November, and December is when it's going to change back into Aquarius. Okay, so I'm just putting that out there. Anything that's happening. So this could be, see, the thing about Aquarius is it is eccentricity, it's revolutionary change, right? It's awakening. It is, it's like lightning. It's something that blindsides you. You're not prepared for. And it's ruled by Uranus. So if you know Uranus, it spins at a weird, cattywampus type rotation. And that was because of distress that has happened through its past, meaning it could have been hit by a meteor and like took its little rotation and put it rotating another way. So that is something that is very unexpected. Okay, so Saturn, which is the planet of structures and systems and karma and old people. Okay, that was just, I mean, it's moving through Capricorn. It's at the end. It's been in Capricorn since I think it moved in there at the end, December of 2017, and it's been there all of 2018 and all 2019, where we were being prepared for this Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Now, Pluto being in Capricorn in the past has not been a great transit for humanity. Okay, so there is this governmental Saturnian control, and this could also be it's a misuse of power. Okay, and with Mars coming up to Pluto, that is a very, it's like it's a conjunction that is, and I know it well because I have it in my chart, but not in Capricorn, thank freaking God. Um, it is the conjunction of power, and it's transformation, and it's strong. It's a strength. It's a very, very powerful conjunction. And it gives us also the strength to endure whatever's going on. So someone with this conjunction, which I heard Hillary Clinton has it, is this very dark, powerful conjunction that really does help get you through the hard times. Okay, we have Jupiter as well. I think Mars is conjunct Jupiter today, which is also fueling us with this sense of optimism. I think I think we need to use that as like seeing that there's something outside of ourselves that is um, creating a lot of this stuff that we're seeing now. It's kind of outside of our hands, and we're feeling like we have no control. However, that will change, and that needs to change. So, freaking out, um, having fear, having panic, having anxiety, having violent behaviors, any of that stuff is not what we're supposed to be doing. Absolutely not. Okay. This is about being a part of a community, thinking about others as well, helping others, being of service to others, community efforts, humanitarian, and a revolution. So if you take re out, it's evolution. So we're evolving right now. This is a brand new age. This is the age of Aquarius. And people always like sing about it and how great it is. It is great, but literally it's the darkest before the dawn. When you have a collapse and a dismantling of the system in an old world, it's scary, but we have to build the new world now. And this is also how I saw this back in 2017 is we have the zodiac wheel. And in Vedic astrology, they have something called the Ophiuchus, which was taken out of ours. But I believe wholeheartedly in Ophiuchus. And I believe that she is the portal into the new age. So, and she's the serpent bearer. So look her up if you're interested. Ophiuchus, I believe, is associated with Lilith, and which was Adam's first wife in the Garden of Eden. And she was made out of the same dirt as Adam, and they were equals, right? Equally, the masculine and the feminine. And you can think of this as divine masculine and divine feminine. So, what's happening here with these two? What happened was the masculine wanted to dominate the feminine energy. What's masculine? That's ego, okay? That's about Aries, right? This is about me, my, everything about this and not other. It's only seeing the shit from the 3D, right? Because masculine energy is of the what we see, what we can touch, what we can feel, right? Now, he wanted to over and dominate Lilith. So Lilith said, pretty much, fuck you, you can go fuck yourself, and I'm not going to stay in the Garden of Eden because I'm your equal and I want to be treated as though. And he's like, okay, fine. He thought she was going to come back. She didn't. So she left the Garden of Eden. Well, Adam got super, I'm going to turn this way, lonely, of course, because he drove his feminine energy out, and he asked God to make him another woman. So he created Eve out of Adam's rib, So she wasn't an equal. She's just a part of Adam. Okay. So this was a new age for the masculine and feminine energy, where the masculine could then overtake and dominate the feminine, which the feminine is the dark, the unseen, and the things that go on behind our eyes, what our eyes could see. This could be behind what people that are in the elite, the powerful, let's say the governments, behind the corporations. We all know, even salespeople, when you get a job and the corporate people are saying, you know, pretty much to deceive our customers. That's the dark feminine. That's the feminine energy. It's dark. It's stuff that you don't see. Women bear children. It's the unseen. You don't see that energy, right? It's coming from other places. So this is this Ophiuchus energy, and that is where we're at, because we're in this portal of the new age of Aquarius. So I see it as a DNA strand. Okay, so here's the DNA strand, right? And this is why the zodiac's all round. It's round, it's a circle, and then DNA, what happens after it gets to a certain spot? It spirals down, right? It spirals, and it never just makes a circle and then stops, right? It just keeps going and it keeps evolving. Well, I see the zodiac as that. So we're around the zodiac, and now we're in Ophiuchus, which is bringing us into the new age of Aquarius. And then we are going to traverse a brand new zodiac. So we're going to, I mean, come on, there's like, I don't know how many. I think there's like 80. I think there's 88 zodiacs. So yeah, we're in, let's just say, the mother's womb, and we're being birthed into a new age. And it's, you know, this is something that humanity's went through, you know, as a little baby. We went from one universe to another universe into our mom's stomach. And then we were in this fluid, and we lived in there. We didn't even breathe with air. We were just, you know, in water. And then the baby's birthed, and all of a sudden the lungs like develop and all the fluid goes away, and all of a sudden the baby's breathing with air. So just think of this as another rebirth. It's a birth. We're birthing a new age. We're birthing a new year. We're birthing a new decade. So of course there's going to be pain, and there's going to be a little bit of trauma. It's traumatizing for the baby, I think, and the mom. It's painful. And that's kind of what we're going through right now. So after the darkest comes the dawn. Like after the mom has the baby, she goes through the pain, the baby goes through the pain and the scariness. What happens? She enjoys her baby. She feeds it and loves it and nurtures it. And that's what we are to do. So in this time of uncertainty and scariness, we need to think about this too shall pass. And everything happens for a reason. Okay? Now, we have to just take things as they come, and remember to use your sixth sense. This coronavirus is actually not from bats. I think that they're not finding it from bats. It's definitely Mother Gaia's way of purging, because we are, and Infinite Waters had made a video about it. We are the cancer of the earth. We consume, we multiply, and we're depleting our resources. We're destroying our rainforest, which is our breath. If you know anything about breath, we have oxygen, right? We're getting that from the trees, and the trees are breathing in what we're exhaling. So we need our trees. We need our animals. Bats are the number one helpers against disease and viruses, because they're eating all those mosquitoes that carry that shit. That end up biting us. So they're actually our helpers. So if our helpers are being eaten, Like, that's not good for the ecosystem because they're helping humanity stay free from disease by eating all of the little mosquitoes that want to eat us and give us diseases, right? Um, and Corona I thought it was interesting because I've been talking a lot about like how we're getting all this geomagnetic energy from like the coronal hole of the sun. Okay. Um, so I was like, oh, this is very interesting that the corona hole of or this virus is named after corona. Um, and so I'm going to look it up on Wikipedia real quick. And it is the Latin word for crown. Okay. So the crown, this is something that is happening outside of our power. Okay. The coronavirus. So let's just look up. I'm looking up corona. Corona in Latin means crown. Okay. In astronomy, it's the luminous plasma atmosphere of the sun or a star extending millions of kilometers into space, most easily seen during a total solar eclipse. In biology, it's the crown-like appendage of a plant or an animal. And the corona in electricity is the discharge. See, so it's discharging us. It's discharging us from Earth, so Earth can survive in its life. What else? In it's the upper surface of certain parts of the body. So this is respiratory, right? Um, so I just thought that was really interesting that it's called the corona, okay, when it is referring to the crown. And what's the crown chakra? The crown chakra is our connection with God, okay? Then we have the third eye. This area of our energy vortexes in the body, this is where the sixth sense is. And bats have a sixth sense. There has been philosophers. There was a philosopher, I believe, he was studying bats. He was obsessed with how they can get around without sight, smell, um, taste, and touch, like the five senses. These bats could still survive and get around because they have a sixth sense, which is they use their intuition, they use their higher self to get around. And that is also what this is saying to me, is that we need to use our intuition. We need to use our higher self and our higher knowing because we are connected to ultimately the universe, right? So we need to listen to that. And really go inward. This is a great time for meditation. Like we're being forced. Like I did a self-isolation for like 4 years. And I wasn't going out. I was really going inward. Like I go to work, but I'd come home and I would study astrology. I would study like my chart, my soul. I, did my shadow work. And that's what the universe is really asking humanity to do, because we are consumers and we're depleting our connection with our divinity. We're, if you're just working so much and you're just like not paying attention and loving on your kids, not paying attention and giving yourself self-care and love, like that is a killer in itself. Okay. Another thing that I would like to point out is Infinite Waters had pointed out something about the 5G towers being all over China. So, and that it's known to destroy and damage DNA, and it's really not good for us. And so if they have shitloads of towers over in China, their immune system is probably down, which had been the starting of this virus and contracting it. So that was just something I thought was interesting. And so yeah, there's a lot of shifts. So the sun is now in Aries, which is spring. We have Saturn moving into Aquarius, and it will be there until July 1st, and then it'll go back into Capricorn where it is now. So we're going to see some same trends in our systems and government and stuff until December, when it moves fully into Aquarius, and it will traverse there until 2022, I believe. And I'm going to do a separate video on just Saturn and Aquarius. So if you guys are interested at all in doing any of my workshops, or you want to learn more, just PM me, let me know. We can do virtual. We don't have to have physical contact. And I have a couple workshops that I have recorded that that I'm also selling to make some income. If you'd like a personal reading too, let me know. And that's something that I'm doing as well, to see where all this energy is affecting you personally. And really, it's personally affecting us all in very similar ways. Because that is just Saturn at the 29th degree of Capricorn. But we have a lot to look forward to. But I think that, I mean, there's so much to freaking talk about. I can just continue talking about it. I could just hear my Nana saying, please no. She always says I talk too much, but you know, I got a lot to say. Yeah, because May, there's going to be a huge shift in nodes, which also, yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up, is the North Node being at the early degrees of Cancer as where it's been, because we're about to move into Gemini. The North Node is about to move into Gemini. Well, the last time this happened, I just looked it up, was 2001. So what happened in 2001? It was 9/11, right? We had that huge recession. So there is some kind of history repeating in this recession. And then what happened in 2002? It was the stock market crash, right? So we've already been seeing a little bit of that. It might go up, but it's just going to go back down, is my prediction. And so, yeah. And then, so yeah, I'm going to do a video on the North Node as well, being in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius soon. Pinkies up. My fingers are cold. I shoveled like half of this deck just so I could fit a chair here. See that shovel? I shoveled like half this deck, but there has been a lot of snow. Like it's a snowy. We're going to rebuild the system. Okay. It's called a revolution, evolution, whatever we have to do, because I just have a feeling that this has just gone kind of, they blew it out of proportion. But I understand that with humanity, or with Americans, you have to make it a fucking emergency for people to listen. So I can see why they just want to make sure that that we're containing the virus, understandably. But once the sun starts shining bright and like the heat comes out, that's gonna pretty much like, and with everyone working on like the medical like stuff, like the treatment for it, which I heard was heat, could just make it go away. Because viruses, they'll come on with a quickness and leave just as quick. So once it leaves, they better like stop tripping out and having power trips over us, like taking our power away. That's what's happening. When we can't work, we're not, you know, having like, we're not being provided for. It leaves us in a very vulnerable situation, which isn't very, it's just not nice. I really hope it's not, but it could be just an excuse, you know, to be more in power, because they're hoarding it. They're hoarding all the resources right now. The going inward part, and it's really giving humanity a break. But yeah, it's kind of crazy though, like how it's going to affect our economy. Hopefully this won't last long. We'll just bounce back with the quickness and appreciate what we had much more, and find better ways of being independent. Now we know what overconsumption, overworking. Do we really need everyone out, working at their work instead of like, there's just a lot that we're realizing, I think. So we're going to have like a lot more change, and we have hope. We have hope for a new beginning, because that's what's happening. A brand new beginning. So, all right, I'm freezing. I think I'm going to get off now, and I want to do some other videos. So just be mindful on what you're seeing on TV, what you're reading on social media. Not everything is true. And think for yourself, do your own research outside of social media, look more deep into things, listen to your intuition, and understand that our perception and the way that we're seeing the world is skewed. And with the moon coming up to Neptune, we are not going to see things clearly, and we could be easily deceived and taken advantage of and fear-mongered. So make sure that you're aware of that. And yeah, drinking and overdosing is also found in this transit. So please be mindful with what you're intaking into your body. And like Kayla said, right now is a really good time to go inward, explore yourself, and hone your talents so you could inspire the world and make positive change and make humanitarian efforts to help the neighbors and the people that are really, really struggling and hurting right now. All right, with that being said, I'm going to log off. So peace out, peeps. Love you. Your living coach. So cold.